Hey everybody, it's Tyler. Do you remember the draft? It wasn't that long ago. Do you remember what RJ Barrett looked like at the draft? He had a pink suit on. It was dope. One of the coolest looks, personally, for me, I have ever seen. That is an Indochino suit. He has been wearing Indochino this entire season, and you could wear Indochino. It doesn't have to be as loud as a pink suit, but you could wear Indochino and look that good. Indochino is the world's largest made-to-measure menswear brand. They make suits, they make shirts, coats, more. Everything is made to your exact measurements for a great fit. And plus, you get to personalize all the details, your lapel, the lining, your own monogram, all this dope stuff. You can look as cool as RJ Barrett looked. He's got a brand new collection on Indochino. It just dropped. It's featuring limited edition fabrics and jacket linings that RJ helped pick out and design. Right now, you can get $30 off your total purchase of $399 or more at Indochino.com when you enter Blue Wire at checkout. Plus, shipping is free. That's Indochino.com. Promo code BlueWire for $30 off your total purchase of $399 or more. An incredible deal for made-to-measure clothing. You really have no excuse anymore to wear clothing that doesn't fit. Indochino.com.
Blue Wire. Kirk Cousins, he's going to be a Minnesota Viking. This was the right call.
Cousins, pressure, hit as he throws, going for Thielen. He's got it! Touchdown! Oh my Diggs, stay up! Oh my God! 30, no way! Touchdown! It's a Minneapolis miracle!
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. We are part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network, and we are brought to you this week by Indochino, Harry's, and Roman. My name is Tyler Hagan. My life is great right now because Annandale High School, the high school I went to, state quarterfinal. The Gophers, number 4 in the nation, depending on where you look, but they're undefeated. And the, what's the team called that we do this podcast for? The Vikings. The Vikings are doing very well right now. I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Adam Patrick. How are you feeling about the performance last night, good sir?
Feeling great. They got to win. That's all that matters. Nothing else to talk about.
100%. Not like that's basically it. So cool. Good to see you. Talk to you on Wednesday.
Yep.
All right. So we'll go into a little bit more detail than that. From a big picture perspective, what were some things that stood out to you from this game? To me, the thing that stood out the most, obviously, individual performances. Dalvin Cook was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Again.
He's just that good. He really is. But we had noticed over the last couple of weeks, specifically last week, the play calling, the scheme, game plan stuff was looking not super great. Really good game plan, executed very well, was very productive from literally from the first drive. They knew exactly what they wanted to do on offense, and they did it basically through the entire game. That impressed me. What stood out to you?
Yeah, they got out to a 14-0 lead. They got Madison more involved again, which for some reason he wasn't last week. I still don't know why.
Confusing.
They got the screen game going. Had some bootlegs, so they were able to mix them together. And
they did.
And debunk your theory that it's either one or the other.
Yeah.
Cousins was turnover free. The Vikings were turnover free. That might be. I don't know if that's the first time this year that they haven't turned the ball over. It's not. It's definitely not common. I feel like for them this year, especially with Cousins back there. It's usually fumbling or.
It's always something. There's always a fumble or something goofy that happens.
But he's good. The offensive line, for the most part, looked good. I think he sacked. Was he sacked at all?
I am not.
I feel like maybe once.
Once or maybe twice. But I think both were in situations where it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't great, obviously, but it wasn't the end of the world. And that, to me, is basically what we're looking for from this offensive line is you don't have to be wonderful. You just have to make sure that they can't destroy what we're trying to do on offense. And they did that. I'm excited. I've been seeing on Twitter from reputable sources that Elfline looked a lot better in this when you see the film, and so I'm excited to see that.
Bradbury looked good too.
Yeah,
I don't think he gave up a pressure. I read that he didn't give up any pressures last night, so he's looking better. I mean, they lost Josh Klein to a concussion, so that's something to worry about.
Yes, it is. Second one this year.
Yeah, that makes it even more worrisome. And then the Cowboys did a pretty good job of taking Stephon Diggs out of the game. I'm sure once the all 22 comes out or whatever, you'll see that he was double and triple covered probably. But Cousins was still able to find other people. He went to Irv Smith a bunch, went to Rudy in the red zone, found Dalvin Cook a bunch. Treadwell, B.C. Johnson, Madison, all those guys. He was able to still get involved and not feel like he had to force it to Diggs, which makes you feel pretty good.
Definitely. And I've kind of noticed that a little bit. They can get away with it because Diggs and Thielen are both so good, but there are times where it feels like they're forcing the ball to those two, where Cousins feels like it's like, well, I'm due for it. We better try and get them the ball and give them a chance. Definitely you want them to get it regularly, but don't want to force it. I thought all of that was accurate, and they looked so good. The offense, I was amazed.
Against a good defense.
And here's the other thing that we are going to real quick as Vikings fans sweep under the rug that was really hard to say, is the all of the narrative, all of the stuff, all of that can't win a big game in prime time, can't win against a team that has a winning record and is going to be competing, on the road, blah, 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 blah. All of these things. And they came out and they played a really good game, had a really good game plan, executed really well. The defense did enough to get you where you needed to be at the end of the game.
They made the plays when they needed to.
Thank you. That's a much better way of saying it. But yeah, man, that was very impressive from an offensive standpoint. I think they looked very good. Let's talk a little bit. Well, what else do you want to discuss? Turnovers we talked about. Oh, Dan Bailey, revenge game for Dan Bailey. How could we forget? How could I forget?
All his kicks. Unlike the Cowboys kicker, who actually, you know what? What was it? That his first kick was 57 yards.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys thought that was a good idea to try and kick that field goal, and it was like a Blair Walsh kick. It had no chance from the start.
Yeah, it was definitely not going in right away.
So I won't even really put that on the Cowboys kicker. I know he missed it, but I would put that more on the Cowboys coaching for thinking that he could hit that.
Yeah, and I bet if you would ask the Cowboys coaches, they were like, we were going to send him out there because we'll see. Yeah, I don't think they were really thinking he was going to cash in on that attempt. I don't think they could have been real confident.
But that was key because it gave the Vikings the ball in really good field position, early in the game, and then they got a touchdown. So,
Real quick, what do you think of Dak Prescott?
He played really well. I can't argue against what he did last night. He played really well. No, he just had a really good game. And he kind of had to because the Vikings, they shut down Ezekiel Elliott without Linval Joseph out there, which is pretty impressive. So, he was really their only option, and he did well. Even when he had pressure in his face, like he had Griffin or Hunter coming after him, he still was able to get out of the pocket and make a play. And he made some pretty crazy throws to Amari Cooper. I don't know if it was more to do with Cooper being able to stretch out and get some of those passes, or with Dak, just throwing it to where only Cooper could get it. So
there were 5 catches in that game yesterday that 10 years ago would have been stop everything and oh my God, this is one of the most amazing catches we have ever seen. And there was just every other pass play was oh, that's a highlight reel. The Rudolph touchdown with the one hand was unbelievable. Almost every ball that Amari Cooper caught was good God, how did you do that?
That's why a lot of people will probably come out of this and say oh, Mike Hughes got torched by Amari Cooper, and And you look at like some of those catches that he had, like what else is he gonna do on those? He was on him. There's no way he could have prevented him from catching that.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. For the defense, I think offensively it was a good performance. I think they did what they were supposed to do, and that's what we're looking for from the offense. Humans have been shaving for thousands of years, and the secret to a great shave, it hasn't changed much. The ancient Greeks didn't need flex balls or heated handles, and neither do you. That is why Harry's doesn't overcharge you for gimmicky features to their razors. You know what I like most about Harry's razors? It's the price. They own their own warehouse. They manufacture these things so they are cutting out the middleman. It's cheap, it's affordable, it's exactly what you need. They're durable, they're not cheap, they're affordable. It's the good stuff. This is what you want in shaving. Harry's is a return to the essential. Quality durable blades at a fair price. Just $2 per blade. Listeners of my show can redeem their Harry's trial set at harrys.com/bluewire, and you will get a weighted ergonomic handle for a firm grip, a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel with aloe to keep your skin hydrated, and a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy to grab on the go. Go to harrys.com/bluewire to start shaving better today. Defensively, you brought up Mike Hughes. He definitely, say what you will about whether he was getting burnt or torched or terms like that.
I don't think he ever did. He didn't give up a giant chunk play or anything like that. I think what most people are saying when they bring that up is they're saying it was obvious that they were attacking Mike Hughes. Yeah, and he had 17 targets.
Yes, it was very apparent that the Cowboys had decided early on that if Waynes wasn't going to play, that was who they were going to go after. All of that considered, how do you feel now that we actually saw what that defensive secondary looks like without one of Rhodes or Waynes? And how do you feel about the group going forward, I guess, is kind of the big picture way I want to frame it?
Here's my fun take. I don't think it would have been any better with Waynes out there.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it might have even been worse.
I don't think that's a knock on Trey Waynes or a knock on Mike Hughes. I just think that was what they were.
The secondary just hasn't been playing well this year at all. So I don't think it would have been much different at all if Waynes was out there. Some people are like, "Oh, they're hurting without Waynes." I'm like, no, he hasn't really been playing that well this year. So I don't. Didn't he just get destroyed by Tyreek Hill?
He did. It was it was a talking point. It was a talking point.
So I don't think it really would have been better. I don't think Xavier Rhodes really had a bad game. I think he had another solid game for the second week in a row. Mackenzie Alexander, I think, kind of took a little step back last night. He had some mistakes. I think he was partially to blame on that first touchdown that the Cowboys had where Gallup was just wide open.
Yeah.
They just couldn't stop anybody. They didn't give up they didn't give up giant gains, but they would give up a 3rd and 12 or a 3rd and 14, and it's like, you guys gotta not do that.
Yes. I think every week that passes and we see this happening more and more, or something similar to it, week after week, it feels like they're definitely being coached to keep people in front of them. They're totally fine with giving up the 5 to 6 yard
and they make
comeback.
The tackle.
And they make the tackle right away. And they usually, I think this schematically, I think this is built for them to have the similar third down defense that they had, where you can keep them in front of you, give up 6 yards, that's fine. They run the ball on the next down. Now it's 3rd and 2. We stop them on 3rd and 2 and we get off the field.
Yep.
That's a fair way to do it. But for fans and people who are watching these games to look at a Mike Hughes as an example in this game and say that dude got torched all game, I think that's unfair and inaccurate. And I think that's what he's being asked to do is give up that play. Yeah. I don't think they're asking him to give up 3rd and 14s, which to me is kind of what's happening because of that scheme.
Yeah.
giving up too much cushion there, and you got 14 yards,
yeah.
and you can give up these conversions. And when that happens, the third down stuff, now you got issues because now you're just giving up 7 yards of play to the team that decides, like these last 2 weeks have decided, we will take those 7 to 10 yards every play. Yeah,
and if Mike Hughes was really playing bad last night, Zimmer wouldn't have hesitated at all to take him out or put Holton Hill out there or something like that, or give him. Send help over there to help Mike Hughes.
Go to his zone, so it's not.
But he didn't do that because he clearly didn't have a problem with what he was doing out there.
I saw one time right after he got hit where they went to a zone afterwards. I think Collinsworth might have even mentioned it. But every time after that, it was just normal looks that they were giving him, and it was fine.
And he's what? He hasn't even played a whole full 16 games in his career, so he's technically still a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's played maybe 9 or 10 games his entire career, so he's still learning. I think he's got a very bright future. He's been probably one of the best young cornerbacks the Vikings have had under Mike Zimmer.
100%.
Look at guys
100%.
like Trey Waynes and Mackenzie Alexander.
These guys don't play for a year and a half before,
and
Hughes steps in and plays right away as a rookie. That alone should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that to me, it's like it's not only unfair to criticize the corners for looking like that, but it's unfair to what are you expecting out of this pass defense? You think they're never going to complete a pass? You're expecting everybody to knock down every comeback route that happens.
Well,
anything under 10 yards,
especially in today's NFL when they're going to throw the flag on you if you breathe on a guy.
Yeah, and everybody's throwing the ball 50 times a game.
Yeah,
so it's going to happen.
Numbers are going to be inflated. The Vikings I think they are giving up, or their pass defense is ranked 18th this year, and that's pretty high for them because they've ranked in the top 3 for the past 3 years.
Yes.
So,
and that's not to say that this performance is what I'm looking for from the defense. The defensive secondary has to play better if they want to, make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah, they have to fix it, but they have, I think, what they're going, their toughest remaining games, are against probably the Seahawks, Russell Wilson. That'll be tough,
mm-hmm.
and Aaron Rodgers. And they've done fine against Rodgers in the past. So they've got time to fix it. Trey Waynes will get back in there. They'll get more depth. But I'm not I feel like we should be more worried about it, but I'm not. Also because I know that the Vikings defense on the road is much, much different than it is at home. They're at home, everything is more, is sharper. I feel like they get to the quarterback more. They make more, create more turnovers. So I'm not extremely worried at right now.
Yeah.
But if the Broncos back up or whatever next week goes up and lights it up against the Vikings, then I'm going to be worried.
Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Usually we just brush it off or blame ourselves, saying things like I lost my mojo, or we avoid it altogether with excuses like I had a long day at work, or sorry honey, I'm just not feeling it. But with Roman, it is easy to talk about it with a real doctor who can prescribe real medication. It's simple, safe, and totally discreet. With Roman, you get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. The doctor will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman will ship it to you with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, simple, and discreet. Getting started is easy. Just go to getroman.com/bluewire and complete an online visit. ED used to be tough to tackle, but now there's Roman. Complete an online visit today and reconnect with the doctor and take care of it. Just go to getroman.com/bluewire to get a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. That's getroman.com/bluewire for a free visit to get started. getroman.com/bluewire. Definitely. And all those things go hand in hand. I think you get more pressure on the quarterback, the cornerbacks look better. It all goes hand in hand. And I think that was part of the problem Sunday night too, was that they were in good spots. They just couldn't get to Dak. Like, they were right there, but just couldn't stop him from extending the play a little bit, and then you were donezo after
I
that.
also think that for the past couple of years, the Vikings have relied on Xavier Rhodes to pretty much just shut down half of the field.
100%.
And he did that.
Yes.
And now he can't really do that anymore.
I think this is the least, like, the most important thing that nobody's talking about right now is the transition of this defense from, like, top 5 in the defensive back, like, pass defense stuff, into, like, a kind of, like, middle of the pack or a little bit better than that. Because not that makes your defense bad, which I think is why it's not being talked about, but this team is built not for an okay defense or an okay defensive secondary. It's built for a really, really good defense and a really good defensiid secondary.
Yeah, because before quarterbacks, most quarterbacks who, you know, aren't the elite, they wouldn't even try and throw towards Xavier Rhodes. They'd look for one half of the field, so you'd only have to defend half the field on, you know, long third downs or anything like that.
Dude,
and
ask Rex Ryan how good you can be on defense if you have one guy that you can just leave alone and take care of somebody. Like, he went to AFC championship games.
Yeah.
Because of that, with Mark Sanchez as their quarterback.
It's huge. You know, Zimmer had Dion back in the day, and he could do that too. So. As he's had the luxury of having guys like that in his defenses, and this year he really doesn't have that. So it's, you know, the opposing offense they don't have to worry about, you know, Rhodes as much, so they can throw to anywhere on the field, and I think Zimmer's probably adjusting to that as much as the Vikings defense is.
100%. We should give credit where credit is due. The Vikings defense absolutely shut down Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, they did.
That was
without Linval.
Amazing. And he, like, looked frustrated about it. And, all of that was without arguably your best defender of the run, who, by the way, is, like, maybe going to miss more time.
Yeah. With a knee injury. That's always great. But, yeah, and then the Cowboys still decided, in, like, late in the fourth quarter to run the ball twice when they were
really needing points,
because they were getting close to the end zone. So, like, let's run the clock down, even though we're still down 4 and we need a touchdoam.
And it was like never a crack, you know. Like, it was behind the line most. Of the time
Fetty, Denebo, he made that big play.
Huge.
Seems to make a big play. He seems to make a big play every week, though. He's stepping up big with the sword.
He plays really well, but he always seems surprised, like, oh yeah, I got to do my thing. And then
when he makes one play.
And it's like, that was a really important play, but he's like, like, he's just not ready for it.
Where's my sword?
Yeah, exactly. I love it, though, because it's so fun to watch a guy like that make important plays.
Yeah.
Because, you can tell he's
you know, they go all out on every play because they don't get that many opportunities. So this was it was a big game for him. I think Armin Watts, he didn't have that many snaps, but he got a sack, and he had, like, I think he had a tackle or two. So that's good. You know, Linval Joseph is getting up there in age. I think his cap hit is almost $13 million next year. So this was a good game for those young Vikings defensive tackles, because I think there's a good chance that Joseph probably won't be back next year, because the Vikings need to make cap space, and that's one way to do it. So
it would be, and especially if you're coming off an injury and not. But Linval Joseph has been really.
He's been
really
good this
for
year.
The Vikings,
yeah,
really good. What else? Went through some of the good stuff. Went through some of the bad stuff. There was a bad thing that I wanted to mention. We talked about Klein's concussion. Oh, the 60% of their third downs were converted.
Yeah.
The Cowboys. That's not a number we're looking for.
No, and the Cowboys are good. They're good on third down this year. I think they were 50% or something around there heading into the game. But I think at one point on Sunday they were like 9 of 12.
Outrageous.
which is crazy too, because that's supposed to be the Vikings' specialty is stopping on third down.
That's what I was going to say. That's crazy for anybody. That's crazy against the Bengals, but that's obscene against the Vikings and Mike Zimmer's defense.
But they're different defense on the road. It's weird, and I don't understand, but whatever. So they don't have that. Maybe they don't have that crowd, even though I keep hearing that the Vikings fans travel pretty well. There was a ton of them in Kansas City, and I think there was a lot in Dallas last night too.
Yeah, I don't feel like we talked about how many Vikings fans were at Kansas City for that game.
Yeah,
It
the
was,
Chiefs
like,
players were
incredible.
pissed.
Yeah,
They came out publicly and were like, "Hey, stop selling your tickets to the other team."
They were
'Cause there
skull
so many
chanting
Vikings.
the whole time, you
Yeah.
guys. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, there were plays that happened where you would hear a roar. And I was like, oh my God, there are that many Vikings fans in Kansas City right now. Incredible. Here's the other thing I wanted to talk about in the like bad thing, but this could maybe just be an interesting part too, because it wound up being not that bad. How close to either A, heart attack, or B, soiling yourself were you when Dalvin Cook basically threw the ball into the air on that last possession? Oh my God. I was standing and I almost fell down.
Yeah, I think everyone let out a gasp when that happened because that was like the prototypical Vikings play that would usually happen to them. Luckily, he caught it, but caused a nice little heart attack for everyone watching that game.
That was when I knew the sports gods were on Minnesota's side for the weekend. Not the Gophers beating Penn State, which was very cool and very important, but it was then, because that's where it turns normally. That's when the Vikings loses. He drops that ball, they take it. Oh God, I don't even want to talk about it. It's terrifying.
I even watched some of that Gophers game this weekend. I'm not like a huge fan of college football just because the corruption thing that goes on. The coach is getting millions of dollars and the players eating cup of noodles for dinner.
Everybody getting the really good players getting paid under the table and everybody just acting like it doesn't happen.
But I tuned in on Saturday. I had the game on and it was entertaining.
Oh man, it was the most fun. I was saying this at work today. The most fun I've had watching a sporting event since the Minneapolis Miracle was that Gopher game.
It came down to the final couple plays, right?
Yeah, and they played really well. It wasn't like a fluky Penn State threw the ball away a bunch of times.
They got some good receivers.
Yes, man. They're fun to watch this year. It's crazy. And guess what? Earlier in the season, they barely beat Georgia Southern.
Oh yeah.
Had that stretch for the game and then looked that good. Yeah, incredible. I could talk about it all day. Let's stay focused on the Vikings. I want to talk to you because I think this is maybe the biggest play of the game. The punt, the Vikings were giving the ball back to Dallas. Fair catch. I think it was Tavon Austin that was fielding the punt. Fair catch with, oh my God, so much room in front of him. And they showed an angle on the replay where there was one Viking defender in front of him up the sidelines, and they would have wiped dude out. He would have maybe scored a touchdown. He probably is still running right now if he returns.
Well, I think Al Michaels said there was probably like 17 yards between him and the first Vikings player when he caught it. I'm sure the Cowboys, they told him,
100%.
Hey, just fair catch, save time or whatever.
Yep.
But Tavon Austin's this isn't his first time returning a punt. So I think at that time, you got to trust, his instincts. You got to look at the situation too. The Vikings punter's punting from his end zone. They're probably going to have max protection.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have as many people running downfield immediately. So you're going to have more room to return.
It just feels, that's the reason you have a guy like that back there.
And I don't know if Jason Garrett's to blame for that decision or the special teams coach, but that was a huge play.
Huge play in the game. And would have, I mean, they have to score a touchdown either way. But wowzers, a lot easier to score a touchdown from the 25-yard line, which is
thanks Cowboys.
Unbelievable. Let's talk about, to me, the most important thing that we saw in this football game was the amazing pregame warm-up that Dak Prescott has doing the hip thing.
Football free. No football.
No football. Just doing his little dance, doing the hip dance, doing the hip throw dance.
All the montage videos that have come out since of him doing it in different music.
Thank God for Twitter, by the way, because the minute I saw that on the broadcast, I was like, "Oh, fun! I'm going to get to watch him dance to all kinds of different songs on the internet tomorrow." It's going to be. I was looking
for the GIF, 5 minutes after that came out, because I'm like, I know it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's already
Somewhere
happened. I know it is. And then, have you seen sequel? Jimmy G warming up for.
No.
He also has the same. So
Really?
it must be like a quarterback thing.
Yeah, because Tom Brady, I'm sure. I think he does it too because they all, that hip motion.
Yep.
You can just fire the ball. You barely have to move your feet.
100%.
It all comes from your hips.
There's a
it's
hip thing,
like,
and then there's a grip thing too that some guys do.
Yep.
Steve Young has talked about it before.
Kind of like a golf swing. Like you don't have to swing super hard to hit the ball far. You just have to have a nice, precise hip motion, and you can smash the crap out of the ball. But yeah, that was pretty funny. I don't even think Chris Collinsworth could keep it together when they put that on there.
That's my favorite time to watch Collinsworth and Al Michaels is when they are obviously laughing at what they're seeing on the screens. And that was
speaking of Collinsworth, did he say anything positive about the Vikings last night? I feel like there was one time where Dalvin Cook had like a 20-yard run, and then the very next play, he ran for like 2 yards. And then Collinsworth was like, "Oh, the Cowboys have been doing a great job at stopping Cook tonight." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
He also said that he was like, "Oh yeah, Dak Prescott bought his mama house." And his mom's
I saw you had to apologize.
Yeah, I was telling my wife about this. I was like, "That's amazing," and she was like, "What? That he bought his mama house?" I was like, "No, that he screwed that up in the first quarter so badly, and Twitter reacted so aggressively, not even angrily, but just making fun of him." About being inaccurate?
I'm pretty sure she passed away when he was in college, too.
God, yeah.
So it was a while ago.
Yeah, amazing. And then he has to, do the dance, go back and be like, "Oh, it's not what I mangled it, evidently, is what I'm hearing." It's like... Right.
It's just, it was funny because, I don't know, there was a lot of instances where it seemed like he didn't even, want to even talk about the Vikings. He didn't prepare or find anything out about the Vikings. All their special breakdown packages were about the Cowboys, and 100%. Meanwhile Dalvin Cook is just tearing them up, and he's like, "Oh, DeMarcus Lawrence is having a great night," and meanwhile Dalvin Cook has got 140 yards.
Here's Cook again. Oh no, this is number 25. Who's that? It's if you spend the whole week in Jerry's hot tub and hanging out and shooting the poop at the Dallas facility.
I'm starting to think I like Joe Buck more than Chris Collinsworth.
Whoa.
That's
whoa.
It's getting that bad. Because Joe Buck, he's been growing on me since the Minneapolis Miracle, because that was a great call.
It was a great call. Also, Joe Buck does enough interviews too. He will do the Pardon My Takes and stuff like that, where Joe Buck is
makes fun of himself.
Yeah, he's starting to now be human and kind of seems like a guy that I would maybe want to hang out with a little bit. And that
he laughs.
Say 10 years.
He laughs about. I think he laughs about the Randy Moss call he made, where he called it a disgusting act. He's just like, guys, just get over it.
He discussed at length how he almost lost his vocal cords from his hair and was totally able to talk about that. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, Joe Buck. Look at us go talking about
Troy Aikman, though. He can go somewhere else.
See, that's funny because I if I could make up my perfect announced team, I think it would be Tirico and Troy Aikman. With the side with the side of Romo. I just can't. Okay. I like Tony. Much? Yeah, I like Tony Romo, but he's too much.
You don't have to predict what play is running every time.
Mm-hmm. And he will also. He gets a little Gus Johnson-y for me at times, where he just is like, "Wow," making noises.
Did you? Gus Johnson. Did you hear him this weekend when I think it was Ohio State was blowing out Maryland or something, and it was they scored 48 points in the first half, and the guy ran for a touchdown. He was like, "It's another touchdown for Ohio State. 6 more points on the board." It was totally monotone. Gus Johnson, who's always been
his college basketball calls.
are
some of the most.
Sounds like he's having a heart attack.
Yes, you can hear that his voice has nothing else to give. He's still pushing. Oh, love it. Love it. What else do we need to discuss? Talked a little bit. Lost. Yeah. Oh, that was the other part. Was what's going on in the NFL right now? Falcons beat the Saints, and Cam Newton is like on the IR, and his white boy replacement looks like he's really good too. Gardner Minshew is a thing that's happening. He's separate, but Rams are like not playing well.
And also the Steelers.
At the beginning of the season, we thought we had it pretty much, like we had a pretty good idea of what everything was going to look like. And now we're here in week 10? And it's all a disaster. Everything's chaos. Nobody knows who their quarterback is anymore.
Big game tonight, too. Niners and Seahawks.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually one of the few games I'm like actually looking forward to watching tonight.
The one Monday night game that is entertaining. The Vikings are, because of those losses, the Vikings are still in the thick of like having the potential to get a first round bye. I still don't think they're going to get home field advantage. But at the same time, you never know, because I think the Niners play the Packers in a little while, so one of those teams is going to have to lose.
I hate when people say control their own destiny, but I think the Vikings are in that spot right now, where if they win enough games here, they could really make it plausible.
You beat the Seahawks, then like 3 or final 4 games, I think, are at home. So that seems pretty favorable.
It sure does, especially for a team whose defense plays a lot better
and
when
then
they're at home.
And you look at the Packers, who people still think they're good, and they're like, oh, they've got the Giants on the schedule and all these teams. And it's like, yeah, but they just lost to the Chargers, so I wouldn't guarantee any of those wins for the Packers, unless they're
barely beat the Panthers in a snow game,
because they got a little extra striped jersey man helping you out.
Also, I would like to see the real angle of that final play, McCaffrey's, because I bet dude was in.
No, he was
on that final play. You don't know that. You didn't see the angle either.
He was in as much as Alexander Madison was.
It stood as called because they couldn't see it. I don't think he made it in. I'm sticking to that. Also, real quick, before we go, have you seen anybody play football like Lamar Jackson?
Oh God!
Like he might be better than the 04 Madden Michael Vick.
Yeah, not even the real life.
Yeah.
Not even the real life.
He's definitely better than real life. Yeah, he's better. That's what I'm saying. Like he might be better than the Madden version of Michael Vick in that year.
That run he had yesterday was ridiculous. Somebody
insane.
was like, it's just like that Michael Vick running ahead against the Vikings. And I'm like, because we had to bring that up every time someone makes a long run. Every time
we're running into each other. That's one of the most frustrating highlights to watch for me. I just can't stand it. But yeah, man, that Lamar Jackson is on a different level. Can you believe that they were going to maybe not have him be a quarterback? Crazy.
Not the Ravens.
No, not the Ravens, but people.
Yeah.
Stupid
people. What I can't believe is all those teams have passed on him. Because they were like, oh, he's he was amazing in college, but he probably won't be in the NFL. I love how that always happens. Look at even Russell Wilson. He was great in college, but people are like, oh, he's too short, can't do anything. It's like, well, then how did he do well in college?
Yeah,
just
and that's
play against
the thing
short
too.
people.
Look at who they're playing. You got a guy from Alcorn State doing stuff. It's like, okay, I can maybe understand your theory there, but Russell Wilson was like, I'm going to be a professional baseball player, and then his arm stopped working, and then he transferred around and played at a bunch of big colleges. It's like, yes, of course he was going to be good.
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson, he won a Heisman Trophy when he was a junior, and then played more, and got better after that. And you thought he was going to be terrible? Come on.
Yeah, just got to get those 6'5" guys out of Wyoming with the rocket arm.
You know who's angry somewhere drinking a beer on a couch is Eric Crouch from from Nebraska. He's like,
wow, what a name drop.
You're right though, but he was one of my favorite players ever, and I don't think
he was good at throwing the ball.
I am not trying to say that he is anywhere near as good as Lamar Jackson. No. For the record, I would just like to state that. But the idea that you can make an offense and cater it to the player that you have because that player has exceptional talents, I think that is practical.
I like Lamar because he's just so young, and he's only gonna get better.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
He feels like a different, like with RG3 and Tebow a little bit, but some of these guys who, I guess I'm just thinking of guys who don't play normal pocket passer quarterback stuff. All of those other guys, you could see in their game that it wasn't going to, once the athleticism left and once this didn't stop working, and if he's banged up, it's not going to. Lamar Jackson has enough good everything where he probably was going to be this good for like a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Tavares Jackson, but hopefully he'll get there one day.
Nobody is. If we're going to be comparing to T-Jack, everybody's going to fall a little bit short at him. I don't think that's fair to Lamar Jackson.
I think wasn't Lamar Jackson almost drafted by the Patriots?
God.
They would have been good for another 15 years.
No thanks. I don't even want to entertain that thought. I'm not interested in that as a thing. No thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they almost drafted him. And I'm sure the Vikings were not anywhere close to him.
Because they just signed Kirk Cousins, so they didn't need a quarterback. Mm-mm. You know what? They still don't need a quarterback.
Still don't need a quarterback.
Kirk Cousins is probably going to get extended after this year.
But what if when's he going to win the big game in prime time, Adam?
Oh yeah, I saw so many people last night still backpedaling, like, oh, I guess Kirk Cousins can only win against winning teams when his rushing attack is doing well and his defense plays well. It's like
Dalvin Cook's not there. What do you think he does? It's like, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because football's a team sport. Listen, yeah, because when he loses, it's his fault, but when he wins, it's the team's.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Before we go, I want to, what Dallas did, and granted, I'm not listening to Dallas Sports Talk Radio, so I don't know what they're saying about Dak Prescott right now. But Dak Prescott did a Kirk Cousins game last night where he played real well, didn't do anything terrible, is going to finish with one interception on a Hail Mary, but didn't win the game for them. And everybody, to me, on the national media, whatever, isn't picking apart Dak Prescott as like, he can't do this or he can't do that, or it's this in the big game or it's that and whatever. And if Kirk Cousins would have played that same game, if the roles would have been reversed and the Vikings lose, because Kirk Cousins couldn't complete a Hail Mary, we would be destroying him right now, ripping him apart for how he can't do what they need him to do.
What about Phillip Rivers?
Perspective thing. Yeah, how many interceptions?
He's been playing like garbage this year, and I feel like Kirk Cousins is still getting more, trash takes than Phillip Rivers is.
It's really interesting, the perception of Kirk Cousins as compared to other quarterbacks. And I'm sure a lot of it is the contract and the money and, you should be making, if you're making that much money, you should be this good at playing quarterback.
I really think a lot of it has to do with him just choosing to sign with the Vikings and not other teams, because he was in the market to sign with like the Jets or the Broncos or a bunch of other teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if like these cities reporters or whatever they love to bash Kirk Cousins because they're like, oh, wish
cool for us to have that
my team could have got him. Yeah. But now they're like, haha, he's not on our team. And it's like people like who cover the Jets are like, oh, glad we didn't get Kirk Cousins. It's like, oh, cool, now you have 2 wins. Mm-hmm. Good thing you didn't get Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. How's Le'Veon Bell looking, you guys?
Yeah. Good thing you spent all that money on a running back, but the Vikings are going to do that next year. But
your head coach's eyes are weird, right? He still coaches. He hasn't gotten fired yet.
For now, yeah, not yet. Somehow.
It's incredible, really. Incredible. And, what if they fire McVay and then they figure out that, oh, my God, everybody's hired the McVay prodigy and we didn't even want the game. McVay's not even that good? Amazing. I mean, there's a long way to go for that because I think Sean McVay's a pretty impressive coach so far. But, yeah, pretty good stuff. Do you have anything else you would like to mention before we let our listeners go?
I don't think so. Just make sure you check out the sponsors. Was it Indochino, Harry's, and Roman. Check them out. They're good companies. Can get you some nice discounts before Christmas is coming up. So
true that. Speaking of Christmas, we got some T-shirts available.
Oh yeah. Peep the the merch on our Twitter account at Bleeding Podcast. Go check that out. There's a nice Dalvin Cook design on there. Be a nice gift for a Viking fan for Christmas. Maybe an early gift.
Something to think about.
If you just want a Dalvin Cook shirt,
yeah,
go check it out. It's pretty beautiful.
Mm-hmm. However you need to justify it, you can get that shirt from us, and we will sell it to you. So do that. All right, buddy. Skull Vikes. I will see you on Wednesday.
Big game against the Broncos.
Big game against the Broncos.
Big trap game.
How many times can we mention John Elway? Find out next week.
Skull.
3. Skull Vikes.